Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukatali.
And a very good evening to you and welcome to Newsline Live. Now then, tonight we've got a guest who will speak to you about the challenges facing one of Sri Lanka's most important sectors, the tourism, the leisure sector. And we have tonight as our guest Mr. Shanthikumar, who is the president of the Hotels Association of Sri Lanka, and we're delighted to welcome him on Newsline for the very first time. Very good evening to you, Mr. Shanthikumar.
Good evening for us. Thank you.
And so you're the president of the Hotels Association of Sri Lanka,
yes,
better known as THASL.
Correct.
So my question to you is it a bit of a hassle and a tussle to be the president of THASL?
Well, it's a pleasure to be a president,
yeah,
but there's a lot of hassle and tussle, as you say,
right,
due to the current situation. See, the hotel industry is facing the worst crisis ever in the history. In the history
of independent Sri Lanka?
Yes.
Yeah, and would you say that it is a greater challenge than we had during the wars and, you know, the bombings in Colombo and so on?
I would say it's a greater challenge because over a period of 30 years we had the war. Yes, it was bad in, not all over the island.
Okay.
Okay, it's the north, sometimes in the east, sometimes in the
but not all
west,
at once.
Not all at once. Now here, today's problem is the plight of the industry is we had the bomb attack in 2019. And we were recovering.
Right.
2019 we were recovering, and 2020 the pandemic started. So pandemic started not only for Sri Lanka, it's all over the world. All over the world.
Yeah.
So when it's happening all over the world, the borders were closed. So the challenges were started beginning from that time onwards. So the hotels were virtually empty, and we did not know what to do with the staff, and we did not know how to take this forward. So for good 18 months or 20 months, no, there was no business at all. But all the hoteliers, even though there was no business, they put the shutters, but still they kept the staff. They pay the staff's wages. Sometimes, yes, some hotels paid 50% or whatever the possible way, and it is a big challenge.
And of course, you maintain
and it was a double blow. Yeah,
a double blow because of the Easter bomb.
Easter bomb, yes.
Now, during the pandemic, you did all this. You managed to keep your staff and so on.
Yeah.
And the help that you got from the government was in terms of a moratorium on your bank loans and so on.
Yeah.
But you didn't get money or funds to, like we had in Europe and in other parts of the world where they had a furlough scheme where the government would pay X amount of your salary bill. You didn't have that in Sri Lanka.
Well, we didn't have a furlough like the European or UK.
Yeah.
All due respect to the government, and I must say we must be thankful to the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Minister of Tourism, and Secretary Minister of Tourism, Chairperson of the Sri Lanka Development Authority, Tourism Development Authority, and her officials. We got a moratorium.
Right.
We got a moratorium. Okay, we got a moratorium initially for a period of maybe 6 months, and it was extended.
Yes.
And the moratorium is coming to an end in June 2022. That is this year.
Right.
Then also we got a wage support scheme.
Okay.
Wage support scheme.
And what was that scheme?
That was a low interest loan of 4% to pay the salaries for the staff.
I see.
Yeah, that is not for the top level, for the rank and file, the minor staff.
Okay.
So that was given for about 6 months.
Right.
That gave a little bit of breathing space.
Okay. But a moratorium, as the word indicates, is
Yeah.
a moratorium. It will come to an end someday.
But it's coming to an end anyway in, in June.
Have you received any concrete proposals? From
We
the government?
have been discussing with the authorities, and we are asking this moratorium to continue for at least for another 5 to 6 years.
5 to 6 years.
Yes, even more.
And are you confident that with hopefully the end of the pandemic, the government here in Sri Lanka has done pretty well in terms of the vaccination programs? We already see a certain amount of tourists back in the country, and it was almost a pleasure to see foreigners on our beaches, which were empty for nearly 2 years. So it seems that we are coming up again. Do you agree that it is restarted again, slowly but surely it is restarting?
Yes. After a couple of months, it restarted.
Yeah.
As you know, now we ended up in month of December,
Yeah.
Around 89,000 tourists. The large numbers arrived from India, followed by Russia, then UK. Now what has happened? India is spreading, the pandemic is getting worse. Therefore, the Indian traveler is reluctant to travel. The Russians are traveling even during the pandemic. Russian traveler is also, I mean, they are charters, they are going to the beaches, and the numbers still remain almost the same. The country, the arrivals are looking good, but how long it will continue, we will not know.
Right.
So now, if you take Australia or New Zealand, still borders are not fully open.
Yes.
So
we can't.
certain areas borders are getting open, certain areas getting closed. So the numbers is a challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that you asked me about the moratorium, yes, the government gave the moratorium for a period. It is coming an end. It's a big challenge.
Indeed.
Yeah. How we are going to pay from July is not. We can't even think. It's not possible.
Right.
It's not possible. I mean, let's be very frank about it. It's not possible. So we have to go to the government and get the assistance from the government. I'm not for going with the begging bowl, but the circumstances
indicate that.
I mean, that's the only alternative we have. Now, also government gave during this period VAT exemption for people who are using 60% of the local products. They exempted from VAT payment. Then also they gave another soft loan scheme and rescheduling the existing loans.
Right.
Then excise department gave a total waiver for 2 years on license fees, liquor license fees.
Okay.
Then electricity also gave a period of 2 years, not free, to pay back current bill plus a 2 year
again breathing space.
Breathing space. So the lately they also given the foreign exchange, the dollar payment for tourists who are arriving.
Yes, that was announced yesterday.
Yeah, those kind of assistance were given, but these are not going to solve the problem today. The challenges will continue until the real tourist arrival takes place.
And in your view, I have read some British ministers talking about their economy, and they don't expect the economy to recover until for another 4 years. That's what they're estimating out in Britain.
Yeah, even in Sri Lanka, I don't think economy or our industry will not recover until at least for next 2 years. The real if there is no pandemic, maybe in 2 years' time we'll get the full result on the tourism.
Right. Now, looking back and looking forward, really, the Sri Lanka's tourism industry is what pre-Easter and therefore pre-CV-19. It was worth approximately $4.5 billion.
Yeah.
But Mr. Shanthikumar, Sri Lanka is such a beautiful country. It's a beautiful destination. It's a destination that creates memorable memories for the traveler. And after all, most travelers are after creating these memories.
Yeah.
And why is it that we can't have a tourism industry that's worth, say, $14 billion instead of $4 billion? You know, another 10 billion. What's holding us back? What are we doing wrong?
In 2018, when we had reached the 4.5 billion, as you know, our target was to achieve 210 million in 2025.
Right.
That was our target, that was our thinking,
Yeah.
and we were working towards that. But unfortunately, we had a double blow where we couldn't go further.
Right.
But still, no, we have not given up hopes. Our country is, I mean, if you see last week in one of the UK news channels,
Yes.
it was announced Sri Lanka is the most preferred country to travel for 2022-2023.
For long haul.
For long haul. So which means, I mean, Sri Lanka is there.
It's right there.
The product is there.
And therefore, then, Mr. Shanthikumar, as a stakeholder in a hotel, an iconic hotel here in the Colombo city, and in your role as the president of the Hotels Association of Sri Lanka, do you detect a reluctance on the part of the stakeholders to raise their rates? Why are you frightened or shy to raise the rates? Surely Sri Lanka isn't an $80, can be much more than an $80 a night destination.
Good question. Soon after the war, 2009, the hotel rates begins to go up.
Yeah.
Why? Then President His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa supported the industry to bring a minimum rate for city of Colombo.
Right.
I was the president of City Hotel President.
Yeah.
He, along with then tourism minister, and they gave us the fullest support to have the minimum rate.
Right. And that helped.
Help. If you see the balance sheet or the annual report from 2010 to 2015, every single hotel in city of Colombo made money. The staff got highest service charge. At that time, certain hotels paid 70,000-80,000 rupees service charge. The stakeholders were paid dividends. The properties which were almost, I mean, unacceptable status because of the war were refurbished. Most of the Colombo hotels were refurbished during that time. So when the city started putting up the price, the resorts followed the same thing. Even though they didn't have a law, or it was not gazetted, because the city was selling high, they had the opportunity of taking their rates up.
Right. And the facilities.
Facilities. And thereafter, when the government changed or whatever,
we're talking 2015 now.
Yeah, then there was a talk. There was a suggestion it should be market-driven rate. What happened to the market-driven rate? Collapsed. $125 plus taxes. The five-star hotel they were selling, when it come to year 2016-17, came up to 90-80. When it come to 90-80, the 4-star, 3-star, and 2-star will have to come down.
Even further down.
Further down.
So it seems that this policy of market market forces hasn't worked, because we had a dollar that was 130, it suddenly became 178. We had concessions for tax concessions removed for investors, all in the belief that market-driven forces will work for the economy. It obviously hasn't worked.
Not that the market-driven forces haven't worked. It is there was no confidence among the hoteliers whether we can market it without a law, A. B, they were very, I mean, each hotel was thinking the competitor is going to undercut by $10, $20, $15. So that led to this situation. And also, I mean, all fairness to all hoteliers, for 30-year war, during the war, the prices were coming down, So that system was, I mean, that was in their system, bringing down the rate to fill their rooms.
Right.
Okay, at that time the cost of operation of a hotel or room was very much lower. Today you can't do that. Today, unless otherwise, we all get together, the hoteliers get together, and like the Maldives or like any other countries, okay, either you take it or leave it, this is our price. And that then the market driven rate will.
But one needs to be
work.
strong, and you need to have stability of policy.
Exactly.
And you need to send out a message that Sri Lanka is actually safe,
Yeah.
which was the message from the end of the war.
Yeah.
I don't think tourists will mind whoever is the president. It could be Rajapaksa, Wickremesinghe, Sirisena, or Fernando, or whoever.
Yeah.
I think would you agree that the tourist is looking for safety and facilities and to partake in this wonderful opportunity that is Sri Lanka, with our weather, our diversity, cultural history, and so on? Would you agree that that's...
I agree. Safe and security is more important. Also, to go back on what we discussed now, even if you bring plane load of people,
Yeah.
and if you are going to sell on a lower rate, it doesn't going to help anybody.
It won't help anyone. Let's find out more, shall we, after this break, in which we look at the headlines from this evening's primetime news from that wonderful News First crew who are working very hard to put out the primetime news this evening. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
One disinfectant to keep your hands, home surfaces, electronic devices and personal belongings safe from bacteria, virus and fungi. Sri Lanka's first SLS certified disinfectant, now with lemon fresh and ice pine fresh fragrances. Sun all-purpose disinfectant spray.
රැස්වීදෙන ජීවිතේ.
Will there be power cuts in the country? Will India construct a power plant in Sri Lanka? Imported rice in Sri Lankan market. Is COVID-19 raising its head again? Who is the mastermind of the April 21st attacks? Cardinal raises questions.
To try to get justice from our people, from our own, within our own context, but all these attempts have failed.
Minister angered over questions by journalists.
KDK, the leader in indoor air quality. Over 110 years in bringing you the best of Japanese innovation and technology. KDK, the reliable fan.
රැස්වීදෙන ජීවිතේ.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And welcome back to Newsline Live. I'm in conversation with Mr. Shanthikumar, who is the director of one of the Colombo City Hotels, and he's also the president of the Hotels Association of Sri Lanka. Mr. Shanthikumar is, of course, a veteran hotelier and is also a stakeholder in the hotel of which he is a director with an international branding. Mr. Shanthikumar, how does one develop tourism? How do we aim towards this $10 billion more, you know, to end up with a $14 billion industry? Would you agree that we need to have more airlines coming in, like budget airlines, and perhaps also to develop other airports, you know, like Koggala, Ratmalana, Batiklo, Trinco, Palali, and of course to make full use of Matala Airport. Would you agree that these things need to be done?
Absolutely. Moreover, even the Katunayaka airport,
yes,
also the facility has to be improved.
For budget airlines? For
budget airlines, even the arrival, departure, customs, immigration. It has to be,
and these, what do you call them, the air bridges.
Air bridges.
I know they're doing some work there now, but honestly, don't we need more? Because we need to be ready when there is a pent-up demand worldwide for travel.
Seriously, we need more. But there have been some development taking place in the airport. We don't know how much they are doing.
And looking at the challenges, because that's with these challenges you're not going to grow it to that upward trajectory. You have challenges in terms of the Tourism Act, the problems which you've been having for several years with the payment of 1% tax on the top line, and also this new thing which is 2.5% again from the top line of social security tax. How does this is nearly 5%? How are you going to cope with this?
Right. Let me start with the 1% municipality tax, which you asked me now.
Yeah.
1% municipality tax was introduced in 2008.
Right.
On top line, on the total total takings.
Yeah.
Total takings. The hoteliers didn't want to pay 1%. Why? Because all other industries pay a fixed amount. For example, today if you take any of these high-rise building or banks, gem, everybody pays 6,500 rupees per annum
to the municipality. Yeah.
When it comes to a hotel, if you take a large, so for example, 5-star hotel like Cinnamon or Shangri-La, I mean, they got to pay 1% of their total turnover.
Which is a huge amount.
And also, while all hotels are paying rates and taxes, garbage collection, if you take the city of Colombo pays close to 400 million rupees as rates and taxes. Moreover, garbage collection separately. On top of that, if you pay 1%, I mean there's nothing left, and we have to pay TDL 1% for the double taxation.
Okay.
Tourism development levy is also a tax.
Right.
Municipality also 1%.
That is before courts now.
It's in courts for last 10 years.
The rule of law.
The lawyers are making money. Municipality is not getting a penny.
Right.
We are not paying. I mean, it's absurd. We have made enough and more representation. Now, thanks to our current tourism minister, Prasanna Ranatunga, he has taken the matter up with the local government minister, and they're trying to put a cabinet paper to charge the hoteliers like any other industry. And moreover, the most important thing is the areas of 10 years. Now here we are on moratorium, we are on soft loan, we are on dependent on government, and paying the arrears for 10 years is a suicidal. You can't pay, there's no money to pay any hotelier.
It sounds to me that from what you're saying that there is a fundamental rights case here, because we are all supposed to be treated before the law.
Yes.
And if you are saying that the hotel industry is being treated differently, and everybody else is paying the municipality just 6,500 rupees, then there appears to be a problem. But
there's a court case which is going on.
Right. Yeah. What is the how is this new Tourism Act? Do we need a new Tourism Act? And why do we need a new Tourism Act?
It is a burning issue. Now we are struggling to take tourism forward. This is not the time for us to repeal the 2005 Act.
What's the need?
I mean, our industry does not know why. There's no need for. There is no need for, because for the last 15 years, 2005 Act is in place, and we didn't see any issues whatsoever. So when when they were trying to repeal the Act, we made representation to our minister. Minister gave a hearing, and he gave us a draft document, the Tourism Act, and to the industry, and for us to give our proposal of are we in agreement or any suggestions, proposal to be given within a month or month and a half, which we did. But when we got the final draft, none of the suggestion made by the private sector was included. It's the same draft came back. So the tourism industry, especially the hotel or tourism industry, is a private driven industry. I mean, so you need the private sector participation in decision making. We are paying 1% TDL, tourism development levy. That is paid by the industry. That is the money which is allowing the total tourism promotion or development or the hotel school. All these things are funded by that collection.
In terms of marketing, Sri Lanka as a destination, do you think that the monies are being spent in the right direction with a focus to attract the
there is a board sitting in the Tourism Promotion Bureau. There's a board. The board decides what to do and whether it's correctly spent or not.
Are these made up of professionals who know about tourism and marketing, or are they just made out of politically connected
I think
people?
there are 12 board members in the Tourism Promotion Bureau. 6 are from the private sector, 6 are from the public sector.
Right.
Yeah. So they make decisions, but to tell you the truth, there were no proper marketing. This has been taken place for the last couple of years. So we have to have the global.
I remember that in 2015, in the Palinist government, we had an attempt to market Sri Lanka through CNN, I believe.
CNN.
It's big enough for me to mention it, and it was a bit silly because they were targeting the content being provided by that channel into hotel rooms and so on, whereas the market should have been to attract the
consumer,
so that they can consider and be influenced by our advertising.
It's no point showing inside the hotel room.
Well, we believe that is a bit. But what do you think? Do you think that do we have enough professionals who know what they're doing in the tourism sector at that level? And we have 4. The tourism industry is broken up into 4. We had 4 chairmen, but of course now Ms. Fernando is the only one. Is that a good move to have it under one roof?
Well, we have no issue at all. One chairman is good enough to manage all 4.
And are they listening? This new Tourism Act, for example, did they listen to what you've said, or they've just ignored you?
Ignored.
And
whatever our proposal, we ignored, totally ignored.
But you have Mahinda Rajapaksa, who is now the Prime Minister, and so on. And in the past, he's been amenable to helping you. Have you made representations there?
We have made representation to our own minister. So we have appealed to our own minister not to repeal the act.
Does he understand it, though?
He understands.
And what's he said?
So at the moment, it's pending.
Right.
And
so we are in a sort of state of flux.
Yes.
We have, but are you hopeful? We just got a minute here. Are you hopeful that Sri Lanka, our usual resilience and nothing can come in our way, our desire to keep saying yes, we can do it? Do you think that'll pull us through and bring our tourists back and put the dollars up again?
Definitely, we are 100% certain we can get the tourists. The arrival will increase once this pandemic is over.
And on that note, Mr. Shanthikumar, thank you very much for being my guest this evening on Newsline Live. I'm giving you a small gift here, which is a hand-painted affair from our very own Hemant Varakapitya, and that's for you. It's
Thank you.
It's number 6 in our range. It's an original hand painting.
Thank you
that's
for
for
that.
you to, as a memento of your visit to News First.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And on that note, that's the way it was on Newsline Live this evening. Take care, and as always, God bless you.
Thank you.